Hello, I'm Keith Glass, Chief of Police and Director of Public Safety for the City of Monroe. I've served the citizens of Monroe since 1993 and was appointed as Chief of Police in 2002, and I was appointed as the Director of Public Safety in 2013. It's been an honor and privilege, and continues to be an honor and privilege, to serve the great folks of Monroe, Georgia. Currently, I am a candidate for the Sheriff of Walton County. There seems to be a few distractors being used by my opponent. One of those distractors is an almost decade-old investigation into the Angel Food Ministries. What I'll tell you and what I'll share with you in regard to that federal investigation is that it was a very long, very in-depth, and very complete investigation. And the results of that investigation are easily found. You can find it on the web. You can find it in news headlines. My involvement in that or any other investigation is that of being a cop. Nothing more, nothing less. Some of you might ask, well, why are deterrents or distractors being used? Well, let me address that. You know, I had no intention of filing an open record request in regard to anti-items or lawsuits filed against Walton County until the City of Monroe received one from a sergeant of the Walton County Sheriff's Office. And I want to take a look at those. Under my right hand, or on the right hand side here, is the results of that open record request on the City of Monroe. This goes back to 2002 until present, the time I become Chief of Police until present. On my left represents the anti-items and the lawsuits filed against Walton County SO office from 2004 until current. Let's just take a look at the last two last two anti-item notices that was sent to each agency. And we'll start with Monroe. The last one we got at Monroe is from an individual that received a DUI. And he makes the claim that he was totally stopped only because he had an out-of-town license plate, and that he was just totally innocent of anything. You know, upon review of the body-worn camera video, I think the evidence will speak for itself in this case. This anti-item notice or suit will go nowhere. The next one was filed late last year. A City of Monroe police officer was parked in a parking lot, in the Walmart parking lot, in a parking space, legally parked. The incident was worked by the Georgia State Patrol. A vehicle comes across and strikes a legally parked, occupied City of Monroe police car. These people that are filing this anti-item are the ones that struck a parked vehicle. So again, that will go nowhere. Now, on the City of Monroe, their cases have been paid out. If I go into that, we'll be talking all night when I get to this stack. The first one on this stack is a very well-known case now, if you've listened to the news, and it's the Renee Jones versus Walton County Sheriff's Office. And I'm not going to go into big numbers on it, but you know, the lawyer here in this case references two other cases that had been settled by a jury. One of them was Lucas versus City of Braswell. The jury verdict was $1 million. The other was Buckner versus Sheltler. The jury verdict was 1.3. They made the generous offer of settling this for $450,000. The other one filed again late last year. This one was filed this year. This one was filed late last year. It's in reference to a person being questioned about theft of a firearm and being told that they couldn't have their attorney present while being questioned. And again, the attorney, out of the goodness of his heart, I guess, says that they will sell $455,750. When you bring these back and look at them, this doesn't represent the best practices. This doesn't represent the best training. One other thing that I have to make a comment on is that when the Prison Legal News case was brought up, and I do understand that they support the rights of prisoners. I thoroughly understand that, and I'm a very conservative guy. We were told that the court only awarded, or did award, $114,225.26 for the legal fees of the people representing the Prison Legal News. Well, when you dig into this, you find out that Walton County's insurance paid $153,749.37 defending this case. So you got a total spent on this one case of $267,974.65. This doesn't represent the best practices in law enforcement. You know, and in talking about the $267,000+ settlement on one issue, I do want to come back over here, and I said that we had paid out. Based on this documentation, we had paid out $72,500 in claims. So, you know, these three claims are far less than the one cost of the Prison Legal News issue. And while we're talking dollars and cents, the sheriff made a very clear point the other night that, you know, as a constitutional officer, a budget would, you know, he would present a budget, but then the budget become his, and he could spend that money however he wished to. Well, let me tell you that as Sheriff of Walton County, when I present a budget to the chairman and the other elected commissioners that represent the citizens of Walton County, I will consider myself to be presenting that budget to the citizens of Walton County. If I request positions for 6 officers to work in the jail or to be jailers, that's where those dollars will be spent. They won't be spent for vehicles or any other thing. When I present that budget, I will do it as I am presenting it to you, the people of Walton County. Being on budget every year is an important thing. Increasing a budget every year is also an important thing. It's something that you need to think about. Since 2012, the city of Monroe, under my leadership, has spent less money each and every year. Our current 2016 budget is 7.31% less than 2012 expenditures. And as with the budget, I will work with the chairman and the board of commissioners, your elected representatives, to come up with the very best plan for the Walton County Jail. This has been sitting out in a quagmire long enough. We must move forward. We must determine what is right for Walton County in the future of the jail. I personally don't believe building a $50 million jail, which earlier folks had talked about a $30 million jail. And, you know, I think about a county just north of us that has probably one of the most updated, nicest jails, if a jail can be nice, that you'll ever find. The jail was built for a capacity of around 500. Right now that jail houses about 100. So they way overbuilt, and you say, well, they built for the future. Well, maybe they did. But I believe that the future will bring less incarceration. It will bring more drug courts. It will bring other alternatives than having somebody locked down in a jail. I want to also put in and implement a different training approach to the officers or deputies that work within the jail. I want to build a system that gives them a career opportunity within the jail where they're not fighting to get out on the road and become road deputies, and to let them know that the jail is not going to be a place where if a deputy gets in a problem out on the road, they're not going to go to the jail as punishment. If a deputy has an issue on the road, it'll be handled by the folks that are looking after the road. It'll be handled out by the uniform patrol supervisor. It won't be shifted to another department for correction. It'll be handled in the area that it's at. I want the jail to become the most professional within the state. I want to give those men and women who are great professionals that are working there now every opportunity to succeed. And before we leave the jail, I want to emphasize how tough that job has got to be. I think, and I have always thought throughout my career, that it was one of the, if not the most, demanding jobs within law enforcement. When I think about taking care of inmates or protecting those who are in our custody, we've had 6 suicides in the Walton County Jail since 2005. The last one was 2015. As a citizen, ask yourself when the last time you heard about a suicide in Bear County, Gwinnett County, Morgan County, Newton County, Oconee, or Rockdale. These are all counties that touch us. Ask yourself when the last time you heard about that. And then do your own research. Don't take a number I give you. Do your own research and see how many they've had in the last 12 years. We have got to resolve the jail questions immediately. It's not something we need to keep kicking down the trail. As your sheriff, within 90 days, I believe that I can work with the county commissioners and the chairman and have a workable plan to improve the Walton County Jail and to have something that will last us into the future, that will provide a safe work environment for our deputies and also a safe incarceration environment for those that we have in our custody. Let's talk about Walton is safer than ever. Ever is infinity, ever is always. When you look in the mirror tonight or in the morning when you get up, ask yourself, are you safer as an American? Just as an American, as a Walton County, as a citizen of Monroe, as a citizen of Loganville, as a citizen of Walnut Grove, or South Circle. Are you safer than you've ever been in your life? I'll tell you the answer is no. And it's not just the criminal part. You're talking about the crime statistics. We've had 5 fatality deaths in unincorporated Walton County this year. And again, if I throw the data at you, it's like I've tried to rig something. Do the research yourself. See how many fatality accidents we've had in Walton County in the last 12 years versus those years before. You know, the roads are not as safe as they were a decade ago. This thing is part of the reason. This is causing more accidents and more fatalities probably than DUIs. When you make the statement that Walton is safer than ever, you're talking about the whole history of this county. You're talking about since time began. That's a statement that's impossible to make, and it's a statement that's impossible to prove. We've talked about many subjects tonight, and one other subject that I hear a lot about and have seen on our Facebook is, do I support the Second Amendment? I support every amendment of the Constitution of the United States, as I'm sworn to do. The Second Amendment I certainly believe in. My family, my wife, my daughters, they're all firearm owners. They've all been trained with the firearm that they have, and they train very often with that firearm. And to all the citizens of Walton County, to have a firearm and to put it away and never train with it, never be familiar with it, never fire it, you have to be comfortable with that firearm. If you're not, it could put you in more danger than not having the firearm. So if you're a firearm owner, train with it, be familiar with it, be safe with it. But when it comes to amendments of the Constitution, our First Amendment is so important. All of them are so important. There's no one amendment that trumps all others. The 14th Amendment, the 5th, the 6th Amendment, they're all so important to you as a citizen. We end up in these kind of situations because sometimes we forget about those amendments. We do have a right to have an attorney present when we're being questioned. You do, I do, every citizen does, and we shouldn't take those lightly. The Constitution and our founding fathers give us a great starting place. And where we are as a country now, we all owe it to where it all began. And we should never forget our Bill of Rights and the Constitution. It's vital to us. It's vital to us as a citizen and as a law enforcement officer. And as law enforcement officers, we can never forget how important those constitutional rights are to those that we serve. And speaking of serving the citizens, it's about being accessible. I will never be a part-time sheriff. I have no interest in developing property. I have no interest in cattle farming. I have no interest in anything except providing the very best public safety service possible to the entire county. And that'll mean working with the city of Monroe. It'll mean working with the city of Loganville. It'll mean working with the city of Social Circle, Walnut Grove, all the unincorporated areas of our county. But we can do it so much better with a spirit of cooperation. The sheriff pointed out in the forum the other night that sometime when there was problems about between the sheriff's offices and a police department, it was because the chief wanted to be the sheriff. Well, the problem really comes when any leader, whether it's a chief or a sheriff or any leader, forgets about being a leader and becomes a ruler. I'll never be a ruler. I'll always be a leader. I'll work side by side with the men and women of all law enforcement in this county. I'll be fair, firm, and consistent with the folks that work with me at Walton County Sheriff Office as I will with each and every citizen. We will plan and develop implementation of body-worn cameras, not only in our uniform patrol, but in our jail staff also. This is not a trust issue, never has been. It's a issue of ensuring that our jail staff and that our uniform patrol officers have the very best tools available. This tool is a lifesaver. It is an evidence saver. It is a tool that guarantees to the best level possible the transparency of our agency. It helps us maintain professionalism. It ensures our citizens that we have their best interests at heart. We're going to begin the process of becoming a state certified agency again. At one time, the Walton County SO Sheriff's Office was state certified. The City of Monroe is a state certified agency. At a point in here, you'll see a map, and it shows the agencies around us that are state certified. State certification is not a boys club. It is a program that ensures that we have the best policies that are based on the best practices in law enforcement. These policies and procedures have been tried and tested. The state certification process is not an easy one. It's between 150 and 200 standards that have to be met, depending on all the events that we do, and including the jail. That's probably going to run those standards up to close to 200. But it's important for us, and again, I'm glad I still got this stack, but state certification will help this stack go down by ensuring that we're doing the very best practices of law enforcement, and that we're doing what is best for the citizens that we serve. Becoming state certified ensures our citizens that we are doing and following the best practices and policies and procedures that are out there. You know, by implementing the use of body-worn cameras and becoming a state certified agency, we will further assure our citizens that each and every encounter will be one that is fair, firm, and consistent. No matter what the situation, your public safety is what our mission is. You know, as sheriff, I would start a monthly meeting or luncheon, which I would ask our partners in Walton County to, you know, be there, and also to host from time to time. In other words, if Walton County, we would host it the first time, then maybe Monroe would host it, Social Circle, Loganville, then the State Patrol Post, and maybe all of us go over to Athens and meet and have lunch at the Athens office of the GBI with the SAC. This is about developing a teamship or a team. It's about all of us understanding we're peers. You know, that we don't have one person that's in this game that is the ruler of the game, that we're all equals and we're all trying to get the same mission accomplished for the citizens of Walton County. You know, and as we wrap up tonight, I want to challenge you, the citizens of Walton County, to do some comparison. Take a look at the City of Monroe Police Department in 2002. Compare it to where it's at today. Do the same with Walton County Sheriff's Office. Look at where it was at in 2004 and compare it to where it's at today. And do a tough evaluation and see, and come up with the answer before you make your choice on who should be the sheriff of Walton County. You know, serving in Monroe, I was given a great opportunity also to serve with the guys at the Monroe Fire Department. You know, that's been a great part of my career, and I've really enjoyed working with those guys and talk to those guys, or talk to the city about where they think the fire department's at. You know, we were fortunate, I was fortunate to follow behind just a great leader in Stan Dial there. But look at where it's at. My opportunities to serve have been many, and I cherish them. You know, I've had the opportunity to serve law enforcement across the state, you know, as the president of the Peace Officers Association of Georgia. I've also got to serve the chiefs of Georgia. Both of these are elected positions. I was voted and elected as a board member of the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police. I'm the immediate past president of that association now. The gentleman that's the current president is George Turner, Chief of the City of Atlanta. And I'm very honored to serve on that board with such a outstanding array of board members. You know, I've also, when called upon by the governor, I have served on the Peace Officer Standard Training Council on the Probable Cause Committee. And I've done so until given the opportunity to serve on the Peace Officers Annuity and Benefit Board, or Fund Board, as commissioner. These opportunities to serve, I cherish them. You know, I've had the opportunity to serve citizens of the state of Georgia in the times of the floods, in the times of civil unrest. I've also had the opportunity to serve the citizens of the United States by being deployed to Bosnia. Was actually at Bosnia during 9/11. You know, it was a very strange and unique feeling to be so far away from home when the Twin Towers were attacked by terrorists. Each of the opportunities I've had to serve, I do cherish. I think serving others has been my life calling. I ask that you do your due diligence and you do the comparisons and be tough. If you have questions of me or need answers from me, you can contact me through Facebook. You can contact me by email or by website. I'll respond back. I'll come see you if you want me to. Talk to you on the phone, however you want to do it. But please do your due diligence before you make your selection for sheriff. The policies and procedures that will be developed over the next 4 years will have an impact on Walton County for several decades. As we end, you know, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for the opportunity to participate in the election process. It has been an eye-opener. I've got to meet so many great folks in Walton County, and I've got to see parts of Walton County that honestly I hadn't been to. So to all the citizens of Walton County, I want to thank you for your support and thank you for this opportunity to participate in one of the great things that America does, and that is provide opportunities for those who are willing to serve their community or their county or their city to do so by election. You know, and it's a great opportunity just to be, and a great privilege just to be a candidate for sheriff of Walton County. So I want to thank you for that and ask that on May 24th that you vote for Keith Glass, sheriff of Walton County. Thank you.